After being driven out from the preparation room, I returned to my apartment to find the lights on. I turned off the lights, didn't I? There was only one logical conclusion. Someone was trespassing. You've got three options. Thinking that I might as well give it up. At this point, I opened my front door.
おかえりなさい、兄さん。遅かったわね。
Did you get it right? Commented down below. Never mind. Saki was there, lounging around like it was her own apartment. I'd been expecting Saki since I got to my front door, but why are you all in my apartment? Why are you all in my apartment? Maybe put more emphasis on all. Not only Saki, but Alice and Hirosaka were there as well, and they were also hanging around like they owned the place. Well, there you go. It was a trick question. All of them were there. Annoyed, I entered and sat my bag down. It was the secret fourth option, and if you didn't pick it, you failed.
なんでも何も、私たちはまだ先輩がこれからどうするつもりか聞いてませんから。
Hirosaka set her teacup down on the table. I was pretty sure I didn't own any teacups. Did she bring it here? Alice no longer had a hostile air around her, but to her, she seemed to be her usual self. She was dangling her legs as she looked at the flyer for a pizza place. Did she intend to order some?
というか兄さん、そもそも最初に弥生先輩を止めなかったって聞いたんですけど。
But the fact that this actually is reality kind of disproves my theory of Alice being dead. Because, like, you know, I can chalk up them hallucinating Alice outside of the dream, but these girls and Toru weren't the only ones who saw her. Right? What do you mean right away? You mean last night? Although they kind of just gave up on the chase after she locked the preparation room door, so I don't know.
そうよ。まったく、そこで止めてればこんなことにはならなかったかもしれないのに。
Look, I'm not going to cope and say that they didn't actually see her and she was just faking getting chased, right? Because obviously there were people before she was getting chased who saw her, right? So, you know, it's just, now I don't know what she is. Yeah, but then I would have regretted my decision, Saki. Unless she's like a fucking... She's pulling a Yuki from Sword Art Online Season 2. Like the last arc of Season 2 where where she's hospital bound. But that's, you know, with SAO, that was because of a terminal illness, and that's why she was only allowed to be an Alfheim to experience the outside world and something. It's been a while since I saw the last. It's been a while since I saw season 2 of SAO. But the fact that she's out here and god damn it. Yeah, but then I would have regretted my decision, Saki. I realized that today, when I talked to her, if I had stopped her back then maybe the situation wouldn't have gotten to this point. Gotten to the point it was at now. Besides, when Yoi stole Maya's power, Hirosaka was there too. You don't care about this? About that?
平坂さんは弥生先輩の友達だけど、兄さんは彼氏でしょ？責任の重さが違うわ。
As much as I hate to agree with Saki, she does have a point.
友達になったつもりはないんですが。
I didn't know whether she was serious or embarrassed, or just stubborn. She would probably get mad if I asked, so I said nothing. Well, I'd like to ask you guys, what do you think of what Yoi is trying to do?
どうって？トールは弥生が正しいって言うの？
This isn't about me. Right now I'm asking what you guys think. If you could be happy without feeling any doubts, then would that really be so unfortunate?
例えば、私は兄さんが夢の世界に逃げて戻ってこなくなったら悲しいわ。それでも兄さんは眠っていたい？
I'm sure I would if I was unaware of that.
それで、今までどれだけハスノさんに苦労させてきたか、分かって言ってるんですか？
Like I said, it's not about me. I want to know what you guys are going to do. What you guys think. Can you really say that she's wrong? In response, Saki and Hirosaka looked at each other. Alice was probably listening, but she seemed uninterested. If you can't seriously believe that Yuyoi is wrong, then you'll just be swallowed by her dream when you see it. If you don't think you can, then don't do anything. I don't think I'll have the capacity to save you too.
じゃあ、兄さんは。
I'll stop her because I believe she's wrong.
トールに止められる？大事な彼女の望みで。しかも昔、夢に飲まれかけてるのに。
That's why I want to stop her. Like you said, I once ran away into a dream world. If Psyche hadn't saved me, then that would have been it. I think I would have been happy. Even now, I sometimes wonder if that would have been okay. Psyche said nothing, but she gave a little gasp.
そんな考えだと、幸せな夢なんて見たら、先輩こそ起きられなくなるんじゃないんですか？
I won't because I prefer reality more than happiness in a dream.
どれだけ幸せでも、兄さんが現実に望む以上の幸せがそこにあったとしても。
Even so, my wish and Yoi's wish in the dream will definitely fall out of sync, so I won't want to stay there.
ああ、ずれるってトールは思ってるんだ。
Alice looked up at me from her flyer. I do. I have no hope in dreams anymore. In fact, happy dreams are painful for me. But Yuyoi has that wish, so no matter how happy it is, what we're seeing will definitely fall out of sync. Eventually, I would come to realize it was just a dream. And besides, I'd rather have the real Yuyoi than a fake convenient dream Yuyoi.
まあね、弥生の見てる夢って、いつかお互いのことが見えなくなるもの。
Alice set a flyer down next to the table and looked me in the eyes.
一人一人の夢をいくらでも叶えることって、結局一人になるってことでしょ？
Yeah. Of course, Yuyoi had to have realized that too, but she was wishing for it.
だけど、それをあの人が望んでいる以上は、それを止めるのって、先輩のエゴを押し付けることになりますよね。
True. After all, she's made it clear what she wants to do. But Yuyoi's selfish actions are due to her ego as well, and she knows that. We would both be happy, but alone. I didn't want to be happy individually, but rather happy together. Besides, I don't want to run away into another dream now.
へえ、そうね。私がどれだけ苦労してきたか。
Saki finally smiled sarcastically. Strangely enough, I felt relieved to see her like that.
それがなければ、夢に逃げるって言うんですね。
Not run away, but if you could be happy without worrying anyone or causing trouble for anyone, wouldn't you normally want to?
そんな都合のいいことってあるの？
事情は違ってもあるかもしれない。それでもいいって人がいると思う。だけど、兄さんは違うでしょ？
Right. I don't want to worry you, or Alice, or Hirosaka. If I run away into a dream, I'm sure even Yuyoi will regret it. I didn't want to cause trouble for anyone. Yuyoi must have felt the same way at first, but she had been unable to do so. So she was now trying to escape into a dream.
そうだとしても、あの迷惑かけっぱなしの女は、先輩がそうして止めるのを嫌がるんじゃないですか？弱くて夢に逃げたんです。その逃げたところまで壊されて、大丈夫なんですかね？そうだよね。私だったら間違いなく、彼氏だろうが何だろうが、トールを恨むと思う。
It can't be helped. If she resents me for it.
兄さんはそれで別れることになってもいいの？
There was a hint of bitterness behind Saki's words. Well, not to use Yoi's expression, but if I can accept that, then that'll be fine.
納得って、 それでできると思ってるんですか？
If a result exists, all you can do is accept it, right? I don't want to be captured by a dream. I still have regrets, and I like reality better. I ruffled Saki's hair.
何するの兄さん。
It's just something Maya said. She asked if it was painful for me when I escaped from the dream. When I escaped into the dream. When I was able to tell the difference between dreams and reality again, my life definitely wasn't pleasant. Yeah, because you were tired all the time. I don't want to say that I had it especially bad, but it was rough for me to not get any rest when I slept. And it was hard being in a world without Maya, and I felt bad for being a burden on Saki.
実際辛かったんじゃない？
It wasn't easy, but if I start over, then it'll be a waste of everything I've been through up until now, won't it? As long as you're living normally, there will inevitably be painful and unpleasant moments, but that's fine, isn't it? Besides, I'm not pessimistic enough to want to start over.
ルートイッチ先輩は、それでもやり直したいんですよね。
Yeah. So if she still wants to start over and not be with me, then, well, I'll just have to accept that. I removed my hands from Saki's head. Saki had an annoyed look on her face when I was petting her, but when I removed my hand, she seemed a little regretful. Alice gave me a mischievous look.
そんなこと言って、トールに本当に別れられるの？
Don't underestimate me. I'm pretty good at parting with loved ones.
嘘つき。まだ未練たっぷりに引きずってるくせに。
I don't know what you mean. I'd probably never be able to get rid of Maya completely, but wouldn't getting rid of her mean I was forgetting her? Saki didn't push the topic. She just gave her usual reluctant smile.
そうね。もしもお兄さんが弥生先輩にも振られても、一緒にいてあげるわ。
こっちはこっちで、さきちゃんが不憫でなんだか涙が出そう。なんで先輩は蓮野さんに刺されないんでしょうか？
I assure you, she would. she would if she could. What a frightening proposition. If it'll satisfy Saki, then I don't care what she does to me.
へえ、そんなことを言うんだ。
Unfortunately, Saki's more into guns, so she would much rather shoot Toru than stab him. Which, if I remember correctly, she did indeed shoot him, in Keiko's route. Saki looked me in the eyes. She didn't look like she was joking. What was she thinking? Did you have a wish?
別に。二人とも勘違いしてるみたいだけど、兄さんがきちんと彼女作れたのは嬉しいのよ。
とてもそうは見えなかったけどな。
What the heck, Alice? And Hirosaka, stop making that face. Hirosaka was silently protesting with a face like she'd just eaten something extremely bitter.
だって兄さんって完璧なシスコンじゃない。正直他に任せられるかもしれない女の人がいるって妹の立場からするとほっとするわ。
Saki heaved a serious sigh. How much trouble had I caused for her?
さきちゃんがけなげすぎる。
It was like I was the bad guy, but maybe I was bad for being such a burden to Saki, so I couldn't say anything.
ま、向こうの人たちはほっといて、兄さんは弥生先輩を止めに行く。夢には負けない。そうなんでしょ？
That's my intention. After that, I'll think about it here.
なんでしょう。とりあえず文句を言う相手をぶちのめしてから相談というこの流れは。弥生の抱えてる不安そのものにはどう考えてるのか。何にも考えてないみたいだけど。
Hey! But it was true that I had a problem with Yui's solution. It was going to stop her. In the end, it wouldn't solve or settle her actual problem, but
冗談です。一つずつ片付けていけばいいんですよね。まったく、あの女は余計な手間を増やして。
Exactly. It felt strange to hear that coming from someone who had been complaining just a second ago. Oh, Hirosaka, so you really are worried about Yuyoi.
次、同じこと言ったら怒りますよ。
Yeah, but like you're cute when you're mad, so like that just makes me feel inclined to say it again. More inclined to say it again. Alice and Saki grinned, making sure that Hirosaka couldn't see them. I raised my hands in resignation and looked away. So anyway, go home now. We'll see each other again in the dream.
さあ、トールのスタンスも分かったし、ピザ食べようよ、ピザ。
She has been eye fucking that flyer for the past like hour, I guess. Did you understand what I just said?
なによ、一人じゃ食べられないし、いいじゃない。
Alice puffed out her cheeks. Hirosaka looked at the flyer Alice was holding. Wait, I still haven't heard what you guys are going to do.
そんなの、兄さんの時と同じで、殴ってでも連れ戻すに決まってるじゃないですか。
Saki said matter-of-factly before sitting right next to me.
言いたいこともたくさんありますし。
Saki, don't you usually sit a little farther away? For some reason, she brought her nose to my neck. This caused our bodies to be pressed against each other. Why was she? Why was she suddenly? I think you should know why she was doing this.
さっきから気になってたんだけど、やっぱり女の匂いがするわ。
Yeah, spoiler alert. That woman is a yayoi. Alice and Hirosaka reacted like cats who had noticed something. That's because I was just talking to Yuyoi a little while ago, and also getting a little freaky in the preparation room, and Asahi just so happened to want to go into the preparation room at the same time, but she caught Toru and Yuyoi having sex in the preparation room, so she bolted out of there. Let's just say that the dream Toru had before all of this went down was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Trying to disguise the fact that my heart was starting to race, I feigned calm.
私たちも話してましたけど、そんな匂いのつけ方するんですか？
Yeah. Hirosaka sniffed her own sleeve.
まあ、彼女なんだし、いろいろあるよね。
If you're embarrassed, then don't say that. Saki pushed her cheek against my chest and glared at me. Saki, Yuyoi was my girlfriend, and I had absolutely no intention of cheating on her. But it was troubling when Saki did stuff like this, in terms of endurance.
なーに、兄さん。何か困るのかしら？
Hirosaka gave a rare evil smile.
あんな女に切り立てしてるんですか？夢で幸せになれるなら、先輩が本物じゃなくてもいいだなんて言ってる女に。
Her words quietly pierced my heart.
おお、なるほどなるほど。つまり咲ちゃんは、そうやって弥生を嫉妬させてやろうって作戦か。
Yeah, but like,
さすがだね。
she isn't even here. So like, what's this going to accomplish?
安心してください。それがどうなるか。効果のほどは私が身をもって知ってますから。
Still pressed against me, she gave the other two a thumbs up.
確かに、こっちで本物を捕まえておけば、何かの役には立ちそうだね。
What's with those evil smiles? Besides, what's the point in trying to make Yuyoi jealous if she isn't watching? That's what I'm saying. She isn't even here. Hirosaka put her hand on her chin with a hum.
後からでもわかるようにしてやればいいんじゃないですか？
And how are you going to do that? Hirosaka wasn't thinking of me as a human being. She was only thinking of me as something to use as a means to an end.
とりあえず、匂いから？弥生としたことと同じようなことをすれば上からつくかしら。
Alice. No. that would actually be cheating, alright? All of this is tantamount to cheating. Doing what he did with Yuyoi would actually be cheating. I can't do that with Saki.
兄さん、さっきは話してただけって言ってましたけど、やっぱり私ともできないようなことを学校でしたんですね。
Well, you know, you're right. I got her sent by talking to her, and I already talked to the three of you, so I already did the thing that caused me to make me smell like Yuyoi. So you don't need to do this anymore, right, guys? Alice seemed to suddenly realize the meaning of what she herself had said, and her face turned red.
あとは首筋にキスマークとかが鉄板でしょうか。
Fine. I'll let them have that. Saki's eyes seemed to shine. Wait, what if Yuyoi gets mad and wants to break up over that?
先輩がそれで納得できればいいんじゃないですか。結果が大事なんですよね。
大丈夫。一緒にいてあげるから。
さーて、ピザどれにしようかな。
With no allies to look for help, I got embarrassed and looked away. Go home! But I didn't have the initiative in me to force them out. Yeah, he already showed his cojones when talking about trying to stop Yuyoi's dream, and now he's folding immediately because there's 3 women in front of him. As this nonsense continued, the fact that Yuyoi wasn't here made me lonely. Yeah, I was going to bring her back. I had to. Everyone ended up staying the night. We had one big... Actually, I probably shouldn't say that. I will say, though, even if the rest of this route shits the bed, Toru finally grew a pair. Right? Usually, with these situations, he kind of just stays on the sidelines until the situation gets really bad. And by really bad, I mean Saki's route where she fucking gets kidnapped and Keigo's route where she disappears. Right? And those are really bad situations. And that's the only time when Toru finally stepped in to save both of them. Here, though, yes, you can kind of say it's a similar situation, but the fact that he is very determined to stop her, even at the risk of breaking up with her, of her breaking up with him, you know, it's like, where was this Toru in the other routes? How ballsy he is here compared to the other routes, I don't really have the specifics, because it has been a while since I've played Saki and Keiko's route. But all I'm saying is, I'm glad we got to see this side of Toru. For once, we got to see this side of Toru. We ordered pizza and watched TV. The girls seemed to enjoy it. To have enjoyed it. They took a bath without me. As they should. See, you know, I guess he can joke about that before, but he's dating Yuyoi now, so. But why was Alice the only one embarrassed about that? During that time, I had gone to the convenience store to buy some coffee.
帰りに外で歌ってるギター少女とか拾ってきちゃダメよ。
Hirosaki gave me a look like she had something to say to me, even though it was Saki who said it. The 2 of them were now sleeping comfortably in my bed. I pulled the blanket back over them, and then heard a voice from behind me.
2人とも仲良しだよね。
Alice was watching them, her arms on the back of the sofa. She kept her voice low. It's a good thing. Saki doesn't have many friends.
二人揃って友達少ないなんて、兄弟でイチャイチャしすぎじゃないの？
I can't really deny it. I wiped some cold sweat from my body, from my brow.
認めるんだ。
Well, from the beginning, when Maya was around, the three of us got a little too used to being together. Maya was an oddball. She was thought of as a creepy troublemaker by both adults and kids. I was always spacing out back then, though our symptoms were different. We both tended to sleepwalk. Unlike the other kids, Saki didn't discriminate against us or find us creepy. Since she hung out with us, though, she was ostracized too. That's how it was when we were kids, so now that we're older, it's still hard for us to make friends to a certain extent. On top of that, I started having lucid dreams, so I often had an unpleasant look on my face. That was another reason for people to avoid me.
ケイコがサキちゃんの友達になってくれて嬉しいんだ。なら、トールは？
What about me? What
私と
about
か
me?
ケイコはトールの友達じゃないのかな？
What are you saying? Of course I consider you my friends, as much as he considers Tetsuya his friend. Alice smiled happily, so you know, not that much. Hey, Alice, about Yayoi.
今の弥生はほっとけない。
Alice's voice grew cold, almost frighteningly so. But unlike Maya, Yayoi is still alive, so I'd like it if you didn't do anything that would have a lingering effect. I'll do something about Yayoi myself.
そっか。トールがそう言うなら、とりあえず任せてみようかな。
What do you mean for now?
言ったまま。だけど、ぼやぼやしてたら私が手を出しちゃうから。って、何その顔。
It's just, now that I think about it, against Maya, all you were really able to do was buy time. Yeah. He's saying that, not knowing about what happened in Saki's route. Because, like, he was less than useless in Saki's route. She did indeed only buy time. And the only reason I'm saying she's less than useless, and I'm not saying that because of her. It's because of the artists. Alright? And also, you know, she was captured by Maya, so whatever. But if it wasn't for that dumbass fucking camera angle, I wouldn't have had to spend so much time censoring her panties. Alright? I mean, you know, outside of that, I think the CG is pretty good. Because of the reason why I had to censor it, but that's beside the point. Yayoi herself had said that Alice, who couldn't do much of it against Maya, definitely couldn't do anything against her.
なんですって？
I put a finger to my lips, trying to signal to her that she might wake up the other two. Alice looked like she wanted to say something, but she kept her mouth shut. Well, let's go.
本当は自分一人で行きたいんじゃないの？
I do, so I'm just going by myself. I won't try to stop Saki and Hirosaka if they choose to follow. Even if I did, they'd still follow me, wouldn't they?
普通、ここは力を合わせようとかそういうとこじゃないのかな？
We can't. We all have different feelings towards Yayoi, so first we have to do something about her so-called happy dream. Ultimately, this is us all dealing with Yayoi separately. We knew Yayoi was going to be alone. Rather than bringing her back as a group, what would we be able to do individually? I figured this was how that dream would go.
なんか時々、トールって私以上に夢のこと詳しい気がするよ。
It's because of all the lucid dreams I've had, so I pretty much get what kind of dream this is. I'd had all kinds of dreams. so I had gotten pretty decent at recognizing what kind of dream I was in. It was the same with this one. Even though we'd shared the same dream this whole time, we wouldn't be able to be together. I felt that we had to take Yuyoi on individually, and Yuyoi had to deal with each of us individually.
別々ってことは、いつもみたいに助けに行けないけど、大丈夫？
What about you? Even if you fall into a happy dream and can't wake up, I won't be able to rescue you.
知ってる？お姫様って、王子様のキスがあれば目を覚ませるの。
I'm not gonna cheat on Yuyoi for that joke. I thought I saw Saki frown. She was sleeping, right? Unfortunately, I'm Yuyoi's prince, so I can't save any other princesses. I had to save my own princess, no matter what.
トールって、王子様ってからじゃないよね。
Wait your fucking turn, Alice. You'll get 2 routes. You have 2 fucking routes to act like to be the princess. Let me act cool for once. That way he's more encouraging in times like these. Alice gave a wry smile and lay down on the sofa. I took a single pill out of the accessory case in my desk. It was one of the sleeping pills Yuyoi had gotten me. I swallowed it all at once. Do you need one, Alice?
いらない。私、寝つきはいいから。
I headed for the kotatsu. The bed was being occupied by Saki and Hirasaka, and I couldn't make Alice sleep here, so...
ベッド、トールも一緒に寝られるんじゃないの？二人ともそのつもりだったと思うんだけど。
I wouldn't be able to relax if I slept there, and also, you know, it'd be a bit weird for Tora to sleep in a bed with 2 other girls in it that aren't his girlfriend. There was no way I could settle down in the same bed as Saki and Hirasaka, so I definitely wouldn't be able to sleep.
あと、私になんか変なことしないでよ。
If I have the energy, maybe later I'll take a picture of your sleeping face.
ごめんなさい。本当にやめてください。恥ずかしいから。
We both chuckled for a moment. Well then, good night. See you tomorrow.
はいはい。じゃあね、トール。また次の夢。
I couldn't make out what Alice said after see you, but I didn't feel like asking her to repeat it, so I curled up in my blanket. We could take care of our problems together, and there's still so much we haven't told each other yet. I said as though I was sleep talking. I fell asleep as soon as I closed my eyes. Huh? I thought we were having a happy dream. This isn't a place that brings up happy memories. At first, it felt like I was moving through the darkness. When that ended and I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the usual tea party room, but instead I was in that forest. That dark forest. An opening in the pitch of dark woods, illuminated only by the moonlight.
こんばんは、お兄ちゃん。いい夜ね。
I was gonna make a joke that Maya was here, but, you know, that seemed a bit too obvious. A voice came suddenly from behind me, causing me to spin around. It was Maya, sitting in the midst of the light of the moon. This is the first time we've seen this background. She wasn't floating like she usually was, but instead she was standing on the ground. Even though she was standing normally, she was like a ghost. In this darkness, her presence felt so faint that it made me wonder if she was really there. Or maybe we have seen this this background before, it's just been that long since we've seen it. It was almost like she was one of those faceless people that had appeared in our previous dreams. So you say, but to me, nights here aren't very nice.
そう？私にとってはとても大事なところよ。だって最後にお兄ちゃんに会ったのはここなんだもの。
There was a breeze. I hadn't noticed before, or at least I wasn't consciously aware of it. In this clearing where flowers grew thick along the earth, their scent hung in the air around us as they danced in the invisible tune of the wind, to the invisible tune of the wind. So it was you who called me here. That, or my own regrets.
私が呼んだのよ。だけどこれが精一杯。私とお兄ちゃんの一番つながってる場所に呼ぶことしかできなかったわ。ああ、もっと好き勝手にお兄ちゃんをいじめたかったのに。
Hey, what are you saying?
だって大好きなお兄ちゃんが他の女のために頑張るだなんて気に入らないわ。さきちゃんならまだ許せたのに。だからちょっといじめるくらいいいんじゃない？
Like hell it is.
あら、妹の可愛い嫉妬じゃない。
The terrible dreams you show people are no laughing matter.
じゃあ、幸せな夢ならいいの？
I reached for one of the petals that hovered around her. The petal flew into her hand as though it had been stuck, as though it has been sucked in. She twirled in her palm as if it were the blade of a fan.
私も一緒で、さきちゃんもいて、ルーティやケイコもいてもいいわね。お兄ちゃんは女の子たちに人気者で、楽しく過ごせて、毎晩きちんと眠れて、時々誰かが添い寝してくれて、みんな仲が良くて。そんな夢だったら見せてもいいの？
If that were reality, it wouldn't be so bad.
そう。お兄ちゃんが望むなら、私の意地悪のない幸せな夢を見せてあげてもよかったのに。
Stop trying to tempt me with that.
大丈夫よ。もうできないわ。
She flicked the spinning petal with her fingers, and it flew away into the wind.
ルーティに全部渡しちゃったから、もう無理よ。持っていかれたっていうのかしら。ほんと強引よね。キスなんてお兄ちゃんとサキちゃん相手にしかしたことなかったのに。
She put her finger to her lips and gave me a sidelong glance. It looked more like you gave it to her because you thought things would be more fun this way.
ええ、お兄ちゃんが困ってる様子はとっても楽しかったわ。
That part of you hasn't changed at all.
簡単に変わるわけないじゃない。私が変わってしまったら、それはお兄ちゃんの知ってる私じゃなくなっちゃうもの。
I giggled softly.
わかってるんでしょ？私はお兄ちゃんとずっと一緒にいる。だからお兄ちゃんが死んだら私も死んでしまうって。
Yeah, I know. I'd known from the beginning. Maya only existed in my dreams. She was a part of my consciousness. But I never thought you'd get so out of hand. You went too far, even for you.
そんなこと言ってもできるんだもの。ならやらなければもったいないじゃない？
That was the kind of person she was. If she could do it, she would. And if she couldn't do it, she would make it so she could. And she gradually increased the number of things she could do.
もっとも夢の中でできることには限界があったんだけど。
After all that stuff you did?
ルーティから聞いたんでしょ？私にできることはやり直しだけ。もしかしたらってことしかできない。もしもすらありえない夢は見せられない。塗り替えることも招待することもできない。
Is that because I always thought what if when it came to you?
ええ、そうね。だから結局はあれもこれも全部お兄ちゃんのできることを私が代わりにやってただけ。
No wonder I couldn't alter the dreams as much as I normally could. Because it was as though my power to alter dreams had been stolen by Maya. Could I do that now? Maya silently shook her head.
いいえ、それは全部今、ルーティのところにあるわ。彼女もお兄ちゃんにとても近い人だもの。
What a pain. If only that would at least come back to me. But something occurred to me. Since this was a dream, did the rules about how our powers worked apply here too? Whose dream was that rule a part of? As I was thinking that, Maya giggled.
その通り。この夢の主導権は私にもお兄ちゃんにもルーティにもないわ。
Maya walked around as if she were a teacher giving a lecture to her students.
主導権は私たちにはない。けれど、夢の主役はお兄ちゃんたちだわ。私がやっていたのは、主役たちを案内することだけ。お話に案内して、どうすればいいか教えてあげて、あくまで舞台を用意してるだけ。脚本はお兄ちゃんたちから、役者もお兄ちゃんたち。私は、そうね、舞台装置とか、そういったものだったの。
If you could do what you wanted with the stage, then couldn't you mess it all up?
劇場をめちゃくちゃにしても、舞台は終わらないわ。舞台を終わらせるのは、機械仕掛けから出てくる神様だもの。
God of the machine? What is that?
デウスエクスマキナ。ぐちゃぐちゃになった物語に、とてもわかりやすい都合のいい解決策をくれる神様のことよ。
A convenient solution, huh?
ええ。それこそ、夢落ちみたいに物語の全部をひっくり返す、とても簡単な片付け方。だけど私には最初からそれはできないことだったんだもの。私は神様じゃないから。
Yeah, I can think of a Deus Ex Machina right now. I can think of one right now. The ending to Maya, the ending to Mio's route in Saku Saku. I think the writers came up with a solution that they pulled out of their ass there when the one vehicle we ever see on that road that Yuma, Mio, and Konami always walk down just so happens to be about to hit Yuma and just so happens to also be a truck. So that the scenario of Yuma getting hit by a truck can line up with what happened years ago, which caused Mio to develop her fear in men so she could save him so that she could no longer be scared of men. I think that's a pretty good example of Deus Ex Machina right there. She was only setting the stage. She couldn't suddenly solve everything. All she could do was prepare the story.
さてさて、そこまでして終わらせてくれない物語。それは一体誰のためなのかしら。
You mean there's an audience or a director? Who was that? Normally it would be one of us having the dreams, or all of us. But that has nothing to do with the problem at hand. We need to take care of Yuyoi first. Mai must have guessed I would say that, because she was still smiling. I don't know what the script is, but I'm going to capture Yuyoi and wake her up from this dream. I could do that, right?
できるんじゃないかしら。それがお話の流れだっていうのなら。
You know, if the writers of Hapymaher willed it.
だけど、ルーティの方も主役だし、あっちはお話の流れを好きにできる。
Yeah, but she ain't as much of a main character as me. Alright, I'm the mainest main character. What?
なので、ルーティの願い通り、こうして二人はいつまでも幸せな夢を見続けるのでした。めでたしめでたし。
She clapped her hands like she was reading from a picture book to a child.
なんてね、そんなお話で終わるかもしれないでしょ。
Reading from a picture book to a child? You mean reading a picture book to a child? Like, if they just cut it off at reading from a picture book, it would have been fine, but they added to a child, so it stopped making sense. It stopped making sense. That depends on whether I'm able to do something or not. I looked up to see the shining moon. It wasn't big, but it illuminated our ceiling. Clearing. There isn't a ceiling here. Is it possible someone might interfere?
私が邪魔するかも。
Anyone else? Like the audience we were talking about?
観客は見るだけだもの。普通は舞台に上がるのはルール違反だわ。
Yeah. You hear that, audience? Who are definitely here? I see. That's a relief. Then there was only one thing to do.
行くの？また夢を壊しに。
Yeah. I'm going to destroy this dream, but that's so we can have a happy dream later. I'm going to pull her out of this convenient dream when she's trying to escape. This convenient dream she's trying to escape into. I tried to turn my back to Maya, but she caught my hand from behind. She held my hand like she had in the forest long ago.
本当に行くの？
Maya,
私にはもうお兄ちゃんの見たい幸せな夢を見せてあげることはできない。だけど、行かなければ、ルーティの夢を止めなければ、私と一緒にいられるのよ。
Maya said in a trembling voice as she looked down and squeezed my hand. Look, I already went through your route. It didn't have a very happy ending, especially for Toru. But, you know, I understand who you are. I understand that most of what you do is just a mask that you show to everyone, and this is who you really are. As in, you feel guilty for all the things she's done.
一緒に私は帰れないの？
My chest tightened. I felt dizzy, like I might fall to my knees at any moment. Just a moment earlier, I wouldn't have been able to bear it. But now, I had no choice but to bear it. Maya. I removed her hand gently and hugged her. Her presence was so faint that it made me uncertain of whether she was really in my arms. But Maya was looking down at her as I held her. I'm sorry. I can't stay with you.
どうして？私のことが嫌いになった？
Of course not. Even now, I still love you. So much that it was probably inappropriate for siblings.
ならどうして？
You're always waiting. Maya squeezed my hand.
彼女のために私を置いていくのね。
Maya continued saying things I didn't want to hear. But it sounded like she was trying to make me accept the things I had avoided all this time. No. I hugged her again. She was the one who stood before me now, so I had to make sure she understood. You're never coming back. You went for a walk at night and went missing.
お兄ちゃんだって一緒に来たくせに。
I came to find you. I said, tears almost spilling from my eyes. I didn't want to say this. I didn't want to admit it. But if I didn't admit it, then I would have to stay here forever. It's your own fault you can't come back. The only reason I made it back was because I was lucky.
なんだ。じゃあ私は運が悪かったんだ。
Yes, you are unlucky, and so you died. Normally, we shouldn't have been able to see each other again. Maya was dead. Somewhere.
じゃあ今お兄ちゃんが抱きしめてる私は何なのかしら。
You're my regrets. Something I created. A blasphemy towards the you who died. So I wasn't leaving her. It was strange for her to be here in the first place.
それきちんと言ってる？本気で言える？
I mean, me personally, I think you're the god in the machine just posing as Maya, aka Alice, aka the Alice we saw in Saki's route, who was the younger version of the Alice we see now, but is still Alice regardless. It's very complicated, right? But, you know, my theory of Alice already being dead was thrown out the window when she, in fact, showed up in reality. So, I might be wrong here. I can. It's my fault. Because of my regrets, you can't sleep in peace. But I hugged the Maya who was here. Not because I didn't want to lose her, but because I wanted to feel her touch one last time.
泣きながら言っても説得力ないわ。ほんとしょうがないお兄ちゃんなんだから。
Shut up. I can't help it. Maya put her hand on my back.
私がいなくてももう大丈夫？
I'll be okay.
これ以上サキちゃんに迷惑をかけない？
I'll try not to.
そう？だけど全部信じてあげない。
She pushed me away and giggled.
お兄ちゃん、甘えたがりだから。ほんの少し辛くなっただけですぐに私を呼ぶに決まってるわ。
I'm fine without you now.
本当に？その言葉が嘘だったらそうねすぐにでもまた出てきてあげるわ。さきちゃんと一緒よ。お兄ちゃんが寂しければいつでもいつまでも一緒にいてあげる。
Don't look down on me, you meddler. I don't need you worrying about me. I'm fine without you. I won't pine over my regrets anymore. I'll capture Yui and wake up. We'll have our problems, and I'm sure they won't get solved right away, but I'll figure something out eventually. I turned around and forcefully raised my voice. I declared that to Maya's face.
お兄ちゃんにそんなことできるの？
I can, because it took a lot of time, but I feel like I'll be okay without you now. Even if I was sad, I wouldn't depend on her. So go. You don't have to test me or worry about me. You can just disappear.
ほんと、お兄ちゃんってばお人よしだわ。最初から心配なんてしてないもの。まだ諦めるみたいなら捕まえてやろうってそう思ってただけなのにバカね。
Flashbang. Maya's figure started to fade amidst the falling flower petals. She was melting into the air, as she usually did, but slower than usual.
あら、時間切れみたい。それともお兄ちゃんが本当に私をいらないって思ったからかしら。
She said as she stared at her vanishing fingers, like it was no big deal. Maya. I tried to approach her, but her eyes told me to stop. It was like she was telling me to stay away.
じゃあね、お人よしで私の大好きなお兄ちゃん。
She smiled, looking as unconcerned as ever.
またね。
Her parting words weren't exactly what I wanted to hear. But with that, she was gone. Maya. There was no answer. If it was the usual dream, then she might have reappeared right away. And then I would say she had a twisted sense of humor, and she would laugh teasingly. But that would never happen again. Goodbye. For good this time, I murmured alone in that solitary flower garden. We won't meet again. That's right, I wouldn't appear in my dreams ever again. I felt like a hole had opened up in my chest, but I could still walk. I could still move. So I had to go. Let's get going. That little troublemaker showed up, just to make sure I wouldn't drag my regrets along and lose myself in the dream. Of course I won't lose. I was able to say goodbye to you. I'll be fine. Even though parting ways with Yui and never seeing her again sounds much more painful. Maya's fate couldn't be changed, but I could still catch Yui. Not intending on letting Yui escape, I decided to leave the forest. If I walked far enough, I could leave. And so I walked. I walked without looking back. I walked until I could no longer smell those flowers. The edge of the forest was much closer than I thought. It didn't take long before I was there. Another flashbang. Sure enough, just as the forest came to an end, I found myself back in the room. Back in that room. The same room we saw every time we went to sleep. Ornate, gaudy, strangely coloured, filled with the aroma of tea, sweets, and roasted honey. There was no mistaking this room for another. But the smell of the forest was gone. And in the room was a familiar face drinking tea by herself. Yoi. I'm glad they actually have a sprite for this version of her.
あら、トールが一番に来るだなんて早かったのね。意外だったわ。
I understand that Toru referred to her as a queen, right? The whole she turned into she transformed from the rabbit, the mad hare. I don't remember what the actual character from Alice in Wonderland was actually called, into the Red Queen, right? But like the balls at the ends of her thing, right? These things they make her look more like a jester, right? I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? Where are the others?
さあ、まだ来てないけど。もしかしたら来れないかもしれないし。
Also, I like where they positioned the rose. You know how it's meant to call back to where the rose was positioned on her when she had that dream, I guess. Yuyoi brought the cup to her mouth, as she always did, unfazed. I saw Maya on the way here. She froze. I'm just asking, but that wasn't on purpose, right?
まさか、いくら私でも、そこまでやってのんびりしてられるほど、面の皮は厚くないわよ。
And the fact that it's red too, signifying that she's fully controlled by the dream, or she's fully consumed by the dream.
まあ、本当に私を止める気があるのかって夢は用意しておいたけど、そんなつもりはなかったし。
Then maybe that really had been Maya's final farewell. Is that why the others aren't here?
そうじゃない。だけど、そんなトラウマを刺激するような夢じゃなくて、前に言っておいた幸せな夢を用意しておいたのよ。
A happy dream, huh? I guess you could say that was a happy dream of sorts for me.
それを飛ばして私のところによこしたなんて。マイヤもやっぱりトールの味方だったのね。
I'm not sure if she could be considered on my side, or if that was just one final trap. I didn't know whether I could say she was a genuine ally. I was pretty sure she intended to capture me if I at all wavered in my resolve. Well, yeah, because if you wavered in your resolve, you wouldn't be able to save Yuyoi, so there was no point in you trying to save her. But you didn't, so you passed the test. And there was no mistaking it. Mai didn't pull any punches in situations like that.
そう。それでトールはどうするつもり？
Let's go back together. I held my hand out to Yuyoi, but as expected, she didn't take it.
いやよ。ここまで来てそれだけで、はいそうですかなんて言えるわけないじゃない。
There was no sign of anyone besides me coming. Saki, Hirosaka, and Alice probably couldn't refuse the happy dreams Yuyoi was showing them. Then what can I do to convince you?
トールは本当に幸せな夢はいらないの？
I don't. I want to live with you in reality. The words come straight from my heart.
けれど、現実だと一緒にはいられないのよ。それがどういう意味か分かってる？
Yuyoi stood up and moved to sit on the windowsill like she always did.
実はね、私、トールが来るのを待ってたのよ。幸せな夢をトールと一緒に見ていたいから。
You intend to make me share a dream?
ええ、
Make us share a
そ
dream?
のつもり。いつまでも一緒にいられる幸せな夢を見たいから。
Yuyoi raised her hand. Her fingers were poised, so she could snap them at any moment. Then I'll pull you out of that dream. Will that be enough to convince you? I'll seriously end that happy dream.
わからずよ。
And you're not? I didn't know what else to do. Yuyoi looked at me with a sad smile.
すぐにそんな気は起きなくなると思うけど。
Yuyoi's face drew close to mine and kissed me. She slipped her tongue inside and something sweet, something that tasted more like honey than spit, flowed into me. Was that... Did she change the taste of her spit, for this moment? Yuyoi, what... Did you just...
ディープキス。
I mean, what did you make me swallow?
トールが素直になれるものかしら？
Yuyoi grinned. Whatever she just forced me to swallow caused my body to warm up like a very strong liquor. My heart was pounding, blood raced through my body. She turned her saliva into a truth serum. It was like that sweet, gentle dream scent. The one that was like roasted honey had been condensed into a syrup. I don't know what you mean, that she just had that liquid in her mouth to give to Toru by kissing him. She just turned her saliva into a truth serum. Because that would be much easier to never mind. I forgot what I was trying to say, so the bit's over and done with. My body was hot, and as I started to wobble and lose my balance, Yui pushed me down.
準備万端というか、予想以上というか。
She had accidentally swallowed some herself, though she should have expected that when she transferred it to my mouth. By mouth. Yui licked her lips as her cheeks took on a rosy pink hue. She rustled around my pants and pulled out my censored. My member sprung out quickly, hotter, stiffer, and more erect than I'd ever seen it before. So, not only was it a truth serum, it was an aphrodisiac, because of course it was. Yoi.
これはきちんと責任取らないとね。
There was a hint of excitement in her voice as she straddled me. That's because of the truth serum.